Hi friends, and welcome back to my Tasty Tuesday kitchen. This week we are going to be making lasagna that you can share with a family member, a friend, or a neighbor. Are you ready? Let's get cooking. For your meat sauce, friends, you are going to need some olive oil, a can of stewed tomatoes, a can of tomato paste, a can of tomato sauce, a medium onion, a clove of garlic, and the ground meat of your choice. I am going to use a meatless substitute, but you can use ground beef, you can use a ground meatball mix, or even just ground sausage or turkey. For your cheese mixture, you will need grated Parmesan cheese, cottage cheese, 2 eggs, and salt and pepper for taste. The remaining ingredients that you will need for this recipe are some cooking spray to spray your foil pans, a box of no-boil lasagna noodles, a small bag of shredded cheddar cheese, and a small bag of shredded mozzarella cheese. The equipment you will need for this recipe is a spoon or a spatula for stirring, a cutting board, and a knife for cutting up your garlic and your onion. Remember, friends, anything involving a sharp knife or heat requires an adult. You will also need a pan for cooking your meat mixture in. You will need a small bowl for your cheese mixture. And last but not least, you are going to need 2 8x8 foil pans. Remember, we are making lasagna that you can share, so when you're all done, either before you bake it or right after, you can add a piece of foil to the top and you can give one away. You can keep one for yourself. You can give both of them away. If you want to make one giant batch of lasagna for a friend or a family member or even a neighbor, you can use a 9x13 pan instead. The first step, friends, is for a grown-up to mince the clove of garlic and chop the onion. Now that my onion and garlic are all cut up, it is time to do some cooking on the stove. So what is my rule for cooking on the stove, friends? A grown-up needs to be right by your side, and it is up to them what part of this you get to help with. So I put my pan on medium heat so that it could warm up. I'm going to add a little bit of my olive oil just so that nothing sticks to my pan. You are going to add your garlic, your onion, and your meat, and you are going to gently stir until all of your meat is nice and brown and cooked through. Since I am using meatless crumbles, I actually am going to cook my veggies first because my version of meat won't cook as long. Now that my pan and my oil are all warmed up, I'm going to add my veggies and let them cook a little bit until they get nice and tender, meaning a little soft, and then I will add my meatless crumbles. If you are using ground beef or turkey or sausage, you are going to add that right to the pan with your garlic and your onion, and you are going to let that cook until the meat is cooked all the way through. Since my pan is all warmed up and my oil is hot, you can hear the veggies sizzle in the pan. You're going to want to keep stirring occasionally just so that nothing sticks and nothing burns. Now that my onion is nice and tender, I am going to add my meatless crumbles. And don't forget to keep stirring. Now that my meat mixture is finished, I'm going to turn the heat down to low. If you are using ground beef, sausage, or turkey, this is when you would want to drain the fat. Since I am using a meatless substitute, I do not need to do this step. Once you are done draining out the fat, you are going to add your stewed tomatoes, your tomato paste, and your tomato sauce. For the stewed tomatoes, and Ms.K forgot this step, you want to make sure that you chop them first. Since I forgot, I'm actually going to use my spatula and I will chop them while they are in the pan. Once my tomatoes are added to my pan, I am going to stir and let everything mix together. I'm going to bump my heat up to medium-low and let this mixture simmer for about 15 minutes. Don't forget to put a cover on before you let it simmer. While my meat mixture cooks, friends, I am going to make my cheese mixture. For this, I am going to need 2 cups of cottage cheese, which is the same amount that is in a small 16-ounce container. I need my 2 eggs. I will need a 1/2 cup of the grated Parmesan cheese, and remember, for our 1/2 cup, it's the one that has a 1, a diagonal line, and a 2. And I will also need my salt and pepper to add taste. Friends, once I have added my 3 ingredients to my cheese mixture, I'm going to stir it up a little bit before I add my salt and pepper. And you want to make sure that you break up those yolks, the yellow part of the egg, so that it can mix together completely. And don't forget to scrape the sides of your bowl so you get all of that cheesy goodness. Now that I have mixed it, I'm going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Once your meat mixture is all done simmering, you're going to give it one really good stir and take it off your hot stove. And you are going to follow the same steps for each pan to make your lasagna. And we are going to make a pattern between the lasagna noodles, the cheese mixture, our meat mixture, and our shredded cheeses. So the first step, friends, is to put a little bit of your meat mixture on the bottom of your pan. I've already sprayed it so that nothing sticks. And you're going to use your spoon or your spatula, whatever you're using, to spread that around the bottom of your pan. And it's okay if it doesn't cover the entire thing. This just gives our lasagna a good base. Then you are going to lay on your lasagna noodles. And you want to do it so that they're overlapping just a little bit, meaning that they're kind of touching on one end. This way your layers don't fall apart when you go to cut it. Just like that. Next, I'm going to add some of my cheese mixture. You don't need a lot because we need to be able to do a whole other layer and we have another pan to fill, but you do want to make sure that you are gently spreading this as evenly as you can along your noodles. And you don't want to do it too hard or your noodles are going to start moving around. Once you have spread it pretty evenly, you are going to add some sharp cheddar cheese and some mozzarella cheese to the top. Again, you want to sprinkle it on as evenly as you can. Once you have sprinkled your shredded cheese on, you are going to add some more of the meat mixture onto the top. And again, gently spread it around. Once you have spread that around, you are going to add another layer of noodles. Then it'll be another layer of your cheese mixture, another layer of your shredded cheeses, and then you are going to add some of your grated Parmesan to the very top. Once you are done putting the grated Parmesan cheese on the very top of your lasagna, you can either bake this for about 20 to 25 minutes on 375, or you can cover it tightly in foil to put in the freezer or to share, to pass on, to give to a family member, a neighbor, maybe your grown-ups might want to take it to work and give it to a coworker, or even a family friend. And then they can cook it. If you want, you can even cook it first and then take it over. I hope you enjoy our lasagna recipe, friends. This has always been a hit with everybody I have shared it with. And I hope it encourages you to do more small acts of kindness for those around you. Until next time.